I'm feeling exposed. I'm feeling a strong desire to delete my last video. I'm feeling like a fraud, like an imposter, and simultaneously like a failure. Like I'm pretending to be someone who is not even worth pretending to be in the first place. I feel. And the question is, are these feelings indicative of the objective truth? Ever since I posted that video the other day about what I have learned in the process of building a six-figure investment account without access to a six-figure income, there's been this pit in my stomach that I'm struggling to digest. I feel like I have no business talking about business. Like, if I'm not a world-class athlete in my sport, what gives me the audacity to teach or speak on it? I'm 33 years old, so what's 100K? It's a drop in the bucket of in the big scheme of things. And it took me 5 years to build and amass what other people can clear in a month. So that little voice inside of my head is whispering, that's nothing to be proud of. And it's just going to alienate what little community that you have. Who are you flexing for anyways? And I know all of the quotes and cliches like comparison is the thief of joy, or just compete with the man in the mirror. And yet I'm genuinely having a difficult time pulling my mind out of this nosedive right now. And maybe that's okay. Maybe I have some things to learn about myself. Maybe I'm missing strength in this area and I need to lean into the resistance. Maybe my sense of self-worth is still tied closer to external validation and materialism than I would like to admit. Maybe my definition of success is still not quite my own definition, and I'm still experiencing some discrepancies in my value system, and that's why I'm still measuring myself at the mercy of the scales as sold to me by media and music and all the other external measuring sticks that act more like a bludgeon to my self-esteem than anything else. I'm in a constant state of feeling like I'm not enough, like I'm not doing enough. But I have a life and access to things that I take for granted that most people only dream of, and still I can't get no satisfaction. Why is it that I feel embarrassed for posting that I made my first 100K? Why do I feel like a loser because I'm not far more successful than I am by now? Why is it that no matter how much I grow, I still feel inadequate? Why do I still not feel man enough? How much is it going to take? It's like I have body dysmorphia, but for success dysmorphia. What is my problem? Am I not grateful? Am I too hard on myself? Am I not hard enough? Am I lazy and underachieving and just seeking validation from strangers to not feel so bad about it? Do I have ego issues? Do I have a superiority complex that has me convinced that I deserve to be far more successful than I currently am? Do I believe that my success and performance is what makes me worth love? Ergo, until I can retire my parents and provide for my loved ones in the ways that I dream of, I'll never be a good son or a good brother or a husband or father. And I felt that last one as I said it out loud. But these questions are worth asking ourselves, and I hope that exposing my guts in real time allows you to do the same. I wanted to push myself to record this video raw and premature because I much prefer and feel more confident when I feel like I sound like I have it all figured out. So don't mind me, I'm just sitting here outside of my comfort zone, but maybe that's what we needed to talk about today. Maybe we needed to ask ourselves, why do we continue to weigh ourselves on someone else's scales? And how many times do we have to come up short before we realize that they are dishonest scales? Maybe we can use this moment of opposition that I'm having with myself as an opportunity. You see, almost everything we believe is a product of an idea that someone else has taught us or sold us, which leads us down a rabbit hole of doom scrolling through deep existential questions like, why is a spoon called a spoon? Ultimately, our parents probably have the deepest influence on us, especially on the blueprint of love that we go around through life following until we become conscious of the flaws, usually through pain, and hopefully choose to reformat it. So maybe it's time to ask yourself, who taught you what love looks like? Who taught you what success looks like? What do those things really mean to you? If you had to give everything up for what matters most to you, what would you be left with? You have to ask yourself these questions, because if you don't define these things for yourself in accordance to what you truly value and believe, as a consequence, peace, love, connection, and purpose will continue to elude you. You probably will even begin to isolate yourself and numb yourself in any way that you can to try to escape from a life that doesn't ever measure up. Speaking from experience. There are people out there who have defined for themselves that success is having 2 kids, a dog, and a plot of land in the countryside where they can watch the sunset over the mountains. And then there are other people who think that success is adding another Rolls Royce to their car collection every single year. So if both people in each scenario work towards their goals and ideals of success, are they not both successful? Or is one right and the other wrong? Well, if I'm looking at it through the lens of my bias and value system, I know who I would say worships materialism and external validation between the two. I know who I would say behaves more like a slave and an addict, conforming to the systems and ideas of success as sold to us by a sick society, no matter how much power and wealth they seem to accrue within that society. But also, many highly materialistically successful people are extremely disciplined, intelligent, generous, and have an excellent grasp on how to define success and what they can do to leave the world a better place. Often, even far more so than the less materialistically successful people. But maybe that's also because there are some people who see the unrealistic idea of success that society currently sells us and think to themselves they can achieve it. So they set their sights high and climb up into the vehicle of success, take the wheel, and begin to steamroll through life. Whereas the people at the bottom who look at that same idea of success and feel defeated and overwhelmed by it get steamrolled. And yet the question remains, who sold us this idea of success that we find ourselves conforming to by default? Is there only one game that dictates if you are a winner or a loser? Is there only one definition of success that we must all measure ourselves by? So what does success mean to you? What does it look like, and why do you want it? If you had it right now, what would it give you that you think that you need? What doors do you want it to open? What feeling are you chasing? Is this idea of success that you believe in actually in alignment with what you believe is most important in life? Or are you unhappy and unfulfilled no matter where you are because your values are still undefined? If you have not set your own destination in your internal map in accordance with your deepest values, you're going to feel like you're traveling in meaningless circles or like you're sitting in the passenger seat of your own life. For many of us, this whole mess starts in childhood. If you never had good role models growing up, in their absence of direction, often we are left to wander around naked and afraid, trying to find a path in the middle of a parking lot, and we end up just following the nearest crowd, even if it's right off a cliff. So if you are serious about filtering out the noise and chaos to get a clearer picture of your own unique set of values and perspectives, sold separately from anyone and anything that is not you, don't worry, I can help you with that. I have a perspective and an exercise that I revisit myself every so often because it helps me calibrate my compass. It helps me bring myself back to my true north. It helps me step out of what materialism says about me, what my failures say about me, what my pain says about me, what my parents said about me, what my ex said about me, and step back into what God says about me. And whether you track with the God conversation or not, let me reframe it for you in a beautiful way that you probably have not heard before. There's a verse in the Bible that says, God is love. So sometimes I find it extremely powerful and relatable to interchange God with love. Try it out. What does love say about you? What does love say you can do? What does love call you towards? And if you are created in the image of love, what would it look like to start living your life in a way that brings you closer to what you were created to look like? That was the perspective. And now for the exercise. You'll need a pen and a paper, but it's quite simple. Make a list of all the characters, both real and fictional, that you deeply admire and can see yourself emulating. And then for each individual character, list reasons why you chose them. List their character traits and give specific examples and evidence, and be thorough because this is important. And then once you've done that, rank these traits in order of importance to you. And there you have it, the pillars that you can begin to build the framework of your value system on. From here, you can even begin to write your own moral code. Understand, these are things that no one can take from you. These are also things that if you are living in a way that betrays them, you are selling your integrity. And if your integrity is for sale, everything in your life will remain worthless. People who have not defined themselves don't even fully realize when they have sold their soul. Wait. I need to tell you something. One last morsel for your brain. It's interesting how often we would actually find the people that we disagree with and dislike the most, for whatever reasons that we have, share many of the same values and principles as we do. Anyways, see you next time.